This is Talk K Dramas with Brees and Dallas.
Hey.
Hello, me. Episodes 11 through 14.
Yes.
Okay. And so you decided to do 3 sentences, or we decided you were going to go ahead and do the 3 sentences.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead with episode 11.
Alrighty. So, episode 11, 3 sentences. Number 1, Ha-ni makes her snack presentation while the younger Ha-ni receives a phone call. All right. Sentence number 2, Yoo-hyung figures out the truth and comes to Ha-ni's rescue after the car crash. And then 3, the mother has Miss O do her dirty work. That's my 3 sentences.
Okay. Wasn't quite sure about the second one, but what was it again?
Yeah. So Hyun figures out who the younger Ha-ni, that the younger Ha-ni is episode. The younger Ha-ni. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we start the episode off, episode 11, with the new haircut.
Yes. Because I was trying to tell you.
Yep. You did, because the last episode I was like, oh, why didn't they do something with her hair? But they did that on purpose.
Yep.
Because she comes in totally. See, if you were thinking from last episode, like, why she have to do her hair? Now you know why. She looked really good. She looked really nice. Right?
And I thought it was a really cool thing to like hide it from us in the beginning with the squid thing.
Yeah,
it's like very purposeful, very, just it felt natural for them to like cover it like that. I was impressed.
So she tells the younger Ha-ni, I wanted to prove to myself I can change.
Yes.
I could see that. I'm kind of thinking about the same thing about myself right now. Like, I think I need to do something with this hair.
Oh, with the hair? I was like, what are you pointing at? I didn't know what you were pointing at.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you, love. But
you don't need to change anything about that.
I feel like I need a change or something. I don't know, but I don't like to.
As you enter into the professional world.
What professional world?
Oh, I was wondering if you were going to get a job. I'm just saying, if you were thinking that way, but
no. Oh, you guys try to get me to get a job. Anyways, I don't know. We'll see. But I just it needs a change, and so I got it.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know we're doing episodes 11 to 14. There was a lot of stuff that happened. And I just want to say these 3 episodes or 4 had me crying a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't just me. I was like, what's wrong with me?
Definitely not just you.
Oh.
Definitely not just you.
Okay.
I definitely had some moments.
So at the presentation, she does walk in with the squid hat. Mm-hmm. And she said she wanted to start afresh.
Yes.
So she went in there with with that part of the costume on. Mm-hmm. And then she notices the chairman sitting there. Mm-hmm. Because they have like the panel of judges. Because remember, and I had to remind myself, she doesn't really know who the chairman is.
Yes.
It's just some guy that keeps appearing when they were protesting, talking to her.
Exactly.
She even saw him at the store with Hyun, I think, or Hyun comes in.
Yeah. Said he was senile.
Yeah, yeah. And so she doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I really didn't think about that, like how she would see her, because weren't they backlit, and so it was kind of hard for her to see, or was there like a moment of recognition on her face, like, yo, what's up with that old dude being there?
No, she recognized. She saw him and was like, and so these next few episodes, they're really gonna give us a lot, reveal a lot. So then at home, the young Ha-ni's there. She's praying because of the presentation. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the sister arrives.
Right. Oh,
And we see, this is where I think the sister finds the phone and she looks at it and it says D34. Mm-hmm. So if you remember and you go way back to episode 1, you mentioned that when she opened her phone, it said D70.
Oh no, the first time it was D100.
Yeah. Yes. And so we got a little glimpse of that way back, wondering, was that a countdown?
Is it a countdown? Yeah.
So now it says 34.
Yeah. So what, 66 days? So that's 2 months.
She's been there 2 months. She has about another month left. And I also noticed that in the trailer in the beginning, I don't know if it's called the trailer, but the introduction, there is like a countdown.
Really?
In the trailer, yeah. So if you take a look at it next time you watch, we always skip it.
Okay.
They do have like a little countdown or something. So that's exactly
okay
what that is.
I believe you. We keep skipping the intro, so we're good.
So back at the presentation, Ha-ni says the act of bringing joy to others is what her focus was on their whole snack that they developed.
Whole snack idea, yeah.
And it was a lactose and gluten-free snack.
There it is.
We talked about that too, about like, nuts, and some people are allergic to that. Some people are allergic to tofu or soy. But for her, it was because of Anthony. He
yes,
and other people that have lactose problems. We won't mention it.
That would be me last night. I found out that Newman's Ranch, like the
dressing,
it has buttermilk in it, and man, that thing tore it. Woo.
Stop, Anthony.
Woo.
Okay, stop. But you know what?
I empathize with Anthony at that moment more than I should probably say.
But listen, I was having a little issues too, and I didn't have dressing, and I was thinking it might have been the frozen yogurt we had.
No, frozen yogurt doesn't do it to me.
Never.
Ooh,
then what was going on with me? Okay.
Good question.
Okay, so okay. I'm sorry. I might just be old or something, but
you're older.
I'm older.
50. We are older.
Anthony was wearing pearls.
Pearls?
Yes.
Pearl earrings?
No, a pearl necklace.
Oh, was he?
Yes. Oh. He's at the studio.
Yeah.
I've never ever seen a man wear pearls. Like normally it's, a string of pearls.
Oh, I didn't know.
And so that was a little bit strange for me. But you know what? I was thinking that, like, oh my gosh, she's wearing pearls have it's always been a woman thing. Yeah. I mean, men wear jewelry all the time, right?
Yep.
But I was like, oh, interesting.
Oh, didn't notice.
Yeah, but I was like, it's jewelry. I mean, men could wear any type of jewelry, right?
That is interchangeable. For sure. We're definitely in that era.
I mean, you see,
it's called postmodernism we're in a postmodern space.
At first, I didn't like it, and then I was like, I clutched my pearls when I saw it. I was like, but then I was like, I love pearls. I got pearl earrings on right here.
Yes,
I love pearls, and I thought, well, why not? I mean, it's a piece of, if they're freshwater pearls, it's anybody should be able to wear them, right? But it was
versus saltwater pearls.
Oh, is there saltwater pearls?
Sorry, the way that you just said saltwater pearls is like, it's okay if they were saltwater pearls.
No. I'm sorry.
Freshwater or whatever.
I just meant like fresh, probably. Wait, in order to create a pearl, you need to have a little bit of dirt. Oh, dirt. There you go. So I don't know if there's fresh or saltwater pearls.
We're going way beyond my PhD.
I'm just saying
expertise.
I'm just saying, a real pearls that come from the ocean. It's a natural thing.
Yes.
Anybody should wear them. They're beautiful.
Anybody could.
But a string of pearls was really weird for me to see on him.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Anyways. For a long time, it took me. Like men and puka shells. Is that the right?
Oh, the puka shell things? That was weird for you?
There are just some things that is just like, they just kind of catch you a little different.
Oh,
I think no, I know they do. I'm just saying it's like it's always been like kind of like, but
like it's a woman thing, like mostly girls wear them. Yeah. And also
I don't want to it's hard to not gender it, but that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, that was interesting. I Yeah.
Yeah.
And then always, I think pearls is is it like an older lady thing too? You know?
Yeah,
So
maybe.
that was interesting. Ooh, let us know what you thought. If you guys thought anything.
Yeah, I mean that, but I mean Anthony's style is very,
Exactly. He's gonna push the envelope a little bit.
yeah, it's yeah,
Let's
that's
not
who he is.
forget his poison frog
Suit.
suit
Yes. Oh
thingy.
my goodness. Poison arrow frog.
Yes, yes. Okay. He gets the audition.
He gets the audition.
Yes. So exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get to episode 14. Okay, let's move on.
But yeah, no, the younger Hani really helps him get his head right and his heart right for that. It was really good. Like to see that happen, and for the younger Hani to, I guess starts to show some appreciation for Anthony, because
Does she?
I think so. I
Okay,
mean,
in this episode.
she really did try to like slap him up, like, like get ready for the game type of deal. But at the same time, she wouldn't have done that if she didn't appreciate him a bit more.
Yeah.
And so her character is moving forward also.
Yep, for sure. So then we see so back at the I guess they were eating. They're at the restaurant or something, but Hyun and Hani and the young Hani. And this is where the young Hani or Hani, the older Hani, finds out who Hyun is.
Yes.
She didn't know that he was the little boy.
Little crybaby.
Crybaby. She didn't know that. I thought she did. But she
No,
really
no, no,
didn't.
no. No, she did not.
Yeah. And so yeah, so they were eating. They went out to eat barbecue as like a celebration, I think, for was it for winning the contest or I don't know, but they were celebrating. When so Hyun okay, I'm sorry. It was a lot of episodes. It's kind of coming back to me. Yes, so the Hani and young Hani go outside to talk about it because the young Hani knows who he is.
Yes.
The older Hani doesn't. So she takes her outside.
Oh yeah, because she started saying something. The older Hani's like, what? And so she was like,
yes.
Yeah. And so she had to pause that one. Yeah.
Well, what happens, this was important that them leaving because she leaves her phone there. And that's when she gets the text from, I think it was from the shaman or something.
Yeah.
And then Hume looks and reads it. He tries to be all like,
tries to be all secretive.
And it says something about the girl who came from the past.
Yep.
So all these things are starting to come together for him, and he starts thinking about it, and how the way she talks, how she'll talk like, I mean,
she's old fashioned. Yeah. She says very old, the like younger Hani says some very old fashioned things.
Yes. And things that she knows that she shouldn't really know.
Yes.
She talks like if it happened to her.
Yeah. And he starts and that's when he starts thinking about, like when he first saw her and she saw like those actresses, like an actress or something like that. When did she get so old? Right. And so he started to connect it all together.
Well, not only him, but so all the other people are starting to have these little flashbacks. The sister starts thinking things are kind of weird.
Yep.
Because she asked the mother, because she's trying to put two and two together. I don't know why she didn't do it when she first met the young Hani.
Right.
But she's starting to think now. She asked the mother, did Hani have a boyfriend back then? This would have been 20 years ago. Right at the accident.
Yeah.
Right. And so they start talking about that. And that she's like, no, she didn't go anywhere. She was depressed. And
for like 3 years.
Yeah. And she was on medication.
Yep. And then she Googled the medication and found out that this is not something that you can take while you're pregnant. So
so all these
her whole timeline fell out. Well, fell apart.
All the little clues. Everybody's starting to figure out what's going on here. So this is the day that it's going to rain. So they need to get to the shaman. Because they got to do that whole rain dance thing. Right. But what happens is they leave the restaurant, and this is the whole thing. I'm going to go through it really quick. Something happens with the shaman, and he says he has to let them know, wait a minute, don't show up. This is
Yes.
actually not a good day. But
something weird happened.
Yes, but she doesn't have her phone. So Hyun has it. So anyways, this is how Hyun kind of figures out.
Yes.
Because he has her phone and he goes
he talks to the shaman. I think he even talks to the shaman, doesn't he?
He might.
Yeah,
I think
he answered it and talked to the shaman.
Says,
and the shaman was like, don't let them show up
with the girl from the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he keeps thinking. So he follows them using the GPS. The girls actually get into a little accident. They run into a tree.
Yep.
They get into an accident. Hyun's there to save them. And I think there's also, isn't this where they find the keychain? When he finds them, picks them up at the accident, is this where they see the little flower, the little pea flower keychain that the dad made them?
I think that happened. That had to happen earlier when she was talking to Hyun about who he, because she recognized. So no, she found it earlier because she like opened a drawer and saw it, and then Hyun was there, and she was like, "Oh, about this," and he was like, "How do you know what that is?" And she was like, "Oh, well, of course, my mother told me about it." And so she found it. I think she found it earlier than that.
Well, the interesting thing about that is the actual meaning of the flower, which is finding happiness again.
Yeah.
So, that kind of goes with the whole theme of the episode.
For sure.
Okay. So yes, going back to the accident, Hyun intercepts the call from the shaman. Hyun has, so right here is when Hyun has the flashback.
Yes.
And he starts to suspect that the young Ha-ni is not who she says she is, right? This is where he's putting it all together.
Yes.
And then again, they keep going back and forth to the scenes, because now we have a scene again with the aunt and the grandma. And remember, we said the grandma's there's some spiritual things going on with the grandma.
Yeah.
She knows that Hani's in danger.
Yeah.
She can like feel it.
Like I said, sci-fi wise, it would be a temporal shift. Maybe they're like it's a person that's supposed to be in one timeline, but they're bouncing back and forth between timelines.
And we talk about that too with the shaman.
That might be the beginning of dementia. Anyway, I'm sci-fiing out right now.
Oh yeah. We talked about that. Like maybe
we talked about that last episode.
Ooh, do you think that's true?
No.
Okay. but the grandma.
But it's deep. It's deep. It's one of those things to consider.
Yeah. The grandma says, "Don't you dare lay a finger on Hani." So there's like this dark presence that the grandma could see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And we will figure out who that is, because that is someone. Well, we'll talk. Wait, no, I think it is this episode because well, as we're wrapping it up, we're about to wrap this up.
I hope so. They end up at the hospital, and then the shaman's there, and I guess that's where he says the world lost its balance because you can't have two people in the same timeline.
So one of y'all gots to go.
So this is where the whole idea is that the young Hani's in danger. She might actually die.
Yes.
And so through the rest of the episode, we're going to see them like, she tries to keep it from the young Hani, but tries to also protect her.
Right.
Because I kept thinking, what if she does die? What the heck? Does that mean that the older Hani then wouldn't be there? Like that messes up everything if she dies.
If you were going on sci-fi, then yes, that would be that is what would happen.
But the shaman also says that there's someone who wanted you to meet.
Yes.
So I hope they go back and actually says who it was. Maybe the father.
They're going to have to do that. We only got, by the time we're done with all of this, they'll only have 2 episodes, and that has to be a main point, is who made this time travel possible.
Okay. So the other thing that's happening in this episode is the aunt. And so I always call her the aunt, but it's, the aunt, the other VP
Hyun's
owner.
Aunt, yes.
Yeah. So she talks to Mrs. O and she apologizes for being harsh. And there's some sinister music in the back because we already know she's planning something, right? And the chairman in this episode tells the nephew, Yoon, that he's going to be blind soon. So he's opening up his
nephew.
The nephew.
Is that
Yoon? His name's
Yoon. Oh, Yoon. Got
Yoon.
it.
And at home, so going back to the sister, Ha-ni's sister, she's at their house cleaning, and she leaves those guests. Remember, she leaves the vacuum cleaner, and so she goes over to the house, and so that's what we see happen in this episode. And let me see what else. This is again where the bald eagle, she's suspecting that the young Ha-ni is not her daughter, so she's cluing in.
Right.
Let me see. This part I liked. Hyun brings over porridge. And they tell the young Ha-ni that he knows everything, or he tells, because right, he already knows. Ha-ni told him, so he tells the young Ha-ni. And I'm thinking, when I'm watching this, I started, because I always said that Hyun and Ha-ni could, like, he likes her like an older sister. Like, I couldn't think of them romantically,
right?
But in this very scene is when I started to go, oh. I was like, I clutched my pearls again, and I was wondering, are they gonna be romantically involved? I got to be ready for that, because I'm thinking Ha-ni is like an older sister and that he likes her like that.
Yeah, that's not it.
And so I'm like, okay, Alice, brace yourself.
Yeah.
This could get weird for you for a minute.
Okay.
So that's what happened right here.
I don't know why it's going to get weird.
Because I'm looking at her like an older sister. That's why it'll be weird for me, because that's how I've been looking at it. Yeah. I'm like, Hyun, because he's younger. And I'm like, no, he's just really appreciating her, like someone that takes care of you, an older person that sticks up for you.
Right.
So if it gets romantic, that's where right this very scene where I got a little bit.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I've been seeing it from the very beginning, but
I know you have. You've mentioned it.
It's only like I said, it's only maybe 7 years. To me, I like 7 years difference. Maybe 10. Let's call it 10.
But even if it's 10. Deal. Even 10 years is a big deal for a lot of people.
I mean, I get that, and yet at the same time,
it could happen. I'm not saying that it can't happen, or that it would be weird for other people. I'm saying for the most part, 10 years is a big difference for a guy that's younger. It is.
I'm not. I'm not
saying it can't happen.
Either way, it would be a big deal.
It wouldn't be great if it happened. I'm just saying I didn't see it like that.
Understood.
So it got weird for me.
Okay.
Just for a minute, but I'm changing.
Okay.
I'm gonna change because I like Hyun so much. Okay, the aunt. We already know she has her spies, so she's getting a little bit of intel here from the spy that Ha-ni has kind of changed Hyun.
Yes.
So I'm scared because she's gonna do something bad to Ha-ni, right? And this is the episode where the aunt asked Mrs. O, her daughter-in-law, to break into Ha-ni's computer to sabotage the contest.
Yes.
And then let me see. Grandma is telling, there's a flashback because remember, young Ha-ni gets a phone call.
Yes.
On her phone, and she remembers that the grandmother said to answer the call. And so I don't think she ever did, or nobody said anything.
No one answered the call.
Okay. So that, I don't know what happened here. Here's another scene that I like. When Anthony pulls up on Ha-ni and Hyun at the bus stop. And so I love Hyun because he goes, if you were just passing by, just go about your day. Don't honk and cause a commotion. Just I just like you. I like it. So Anthony just he's smiling at her, and so he ends up giving them a ride. And Hyun gets in too because he's like, well, I'm going there too, so you might as well take me.
Yep.
So that's so funny. And then he wants to pick her up after work. And Hyun's like, okay, yeah, like I'll be ready. And he's like, and I didn't ask you.
Yeah.
And he's like, but anyways, I love that. I love the whole little banter with them too. I
Yeah.
think it's cute. How is it for you as a guy to see two guys like
It's
kind of fighting?
believable. It's just the only part of it that's not believable is Hyun actually getting into the car, because I wouldn't let the dude into my car. I'm just saying, like, flat out.
But Anthony doesn't want to appear rude to Hani.
That is true.
He's on his best
He
behavior.
is on his best behavior.
So, anyways, we hear that they win the contest.
Yes.
So they win, and that's exciting. But this is when the inspection division comes in.
Yes.
And they take Hani and Hyun for plagiarizing the in-house contest.
Yep.
That was episode 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the only thing that I wanted to add in is that I'm really looking forward to who is calling Hani. Like, I'm really looking forward to that shoe dropping the second. But I'm gonna call a shot. I know there's only two. It's like, I know this is, you stop here at 11. But in this space, they actually say who I think it is, and I don't know how, but I think it's Hyun. I think Hyun is the person that's calling. I don't think the dad is calling. I think it's Hyun that's the calling.
So Hyun's calling from the past?
I don't know how it's going to work.
How did you get that?
The reason why is because
there is something.
So there was something,
or maybe I heard you
that the shaman said. The thing is, because it was something that it was like, it was Hyun and the shaman talking, and then Hyun walks away, and the shaman says, "Huh, so maybe he is ready to pay the price that he needs to pay," or something like that. He said something like that, and that's what made me go like, that sent off the alarm in my head. Oh, for sure. That happened because it was one of those moments with those plot development moments that I look for.
Okay.
And so I was like,
really? I was thinking maybe it's the dad calling from.
It's too simple.
Too simple. Okay. Episode 12.
Episode 12.
What happened in episode 12? Tell us.
Okay. So sentence number 1, Hani and Hyun are accused of plagiarizing their snack idea. Mm-hmm. 2, Hyun puts the pieces together on who set him up and why. And then 3, Hani and Miss O finally make up after all these years.
Okay, good.
Those are my 3 main ones.
I have to,
because you get the plagiarizing thing in the beginning, but I mean, they spent a lot of time like sorting that one out in the beginning of this episode. So,
and I love how Hyun is he's growing up a little,
he's growing up fast. Yeah. Like, he's maturing very quickly. His arc is definitely like going up exponentially right now.
Well, and he made a mention too, and I'm not sure if it is going to be in this episode.
It's not this episode.
Okay, that he hasn't had to.
Yeah, for sure.
He hasn't had to. So I think as us parents, we do that sometimes. With we're kind of sabotaging our kids when we baby them too much, and then when they're forced to grow up, that's rough.
Well, it's rough, but at the same time, if you do a good job as a parent, they're ready for it, and they'll go from like 0 to 100, because that's what the situation will demand.
But he shouldn't have had to. He should have been next to his dad this whole time.
That's true.
He could have been. He could have been
his
right-hand man.
Yeah, that's not the story though.
No,
he didn't like snacks for a reason. Hyun's character didn't like the snacks he didn't like how it took him away from, how it took his father away from him. And then when his mother passed, he, internalized that, all of that emotion. And so, and stunted his growth. It literally stunted his growth, right? As a person, which, that's, is not the sociology world, but the psychology folks. It's like, you hit a massive trauma, and it literally stops you from maturing from that point on. And I'm not, maturing is probably not the right word, but you're stuck there. And so you stay a child, right? And then you operate in the world as a child would, versus, making adult decisions and doing adult things. But and so anyway, but his character is definitely developing for sure.
So we see a few scenes at this moment. We believe that Mrs. O had a part in
Well,
all
she was sitting at
this.
the computer
Yeah.
for sure.
And
So
we see scenes and she looks like she's feeling guilty.
mm-hmm.
And her husband comes by, and Yoon, and she's in tears, and I'm thinking she's gonna confess to her husband or say
Right.
something, but the mother-in-law walks by,
Yep. Yeah.
and so that mother-in-law, man,
Woo. Man.
she's scary.
Man. I mean, talk about a turn of character, right? Just like in the beginning, it was at least you were neutral on her, right? And maybe even positive. But now it's like, whoa, where did this come from?
Mm-hmm. So the aunt says an unfortunate turn of events has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we find out is that one of their competitor brands, I guess is how you would want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
they were about to release this new
The
snack.
exact same snack.
Yes.
Exact. Which should cause all kinds of alarm bells, but.
And yeah, the company was Geosong. So that's what they're in trouble for.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in trouble for, I don't even know how they would have got it, but that's not the point. The point was, yeah. So Hyun visits his father at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, I wouldn't do anything deceitful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just cute. They play around.
Yeah.
It's just so cute.
Right.
It's very cute. And I think he says that also Ha-ni too. She's not that type of person.
Right.
So and here's another little thing when the young Ha-ni is with a friend or her friend, mm-hmm. and she tells her, it's like you've come from the past. So people are starting to pick up.
Yeah, for sure.
Quickly in these next few episodes.
Oh yeah.
So this is where the young Ha-ni, she talks some sense into Anthony when he's at the audition.
Mm-hmm.
She says,
"Oh, maybe
you might have, yeah, you might have, but it's okay."
My bad.
She says Shunsiki was someone who was happy over a salad bun, because I don't know, he was like not. He just couldn't. He was trying, he's walking and going into the audition, and he's just not feeling confident.
Right.
So she was like, yeah, you would get excited over a salad bun, which is going to come up in another episode,
mm-hmm.
when he starts wondering, how did you know about, the salad bun? And she says, you're a household name and you're not happy at all.
Yep.
So I think she's starting to, like you said, in the last episode, that she's starting to talk some sense into him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what the younger Ha-ni's there for everyone. Give them some perspective. So
this next episode, Ha-ni's always taken, or the young Ha-ni's always taken off. And this is, I guess she takes off again, and Ha-ni can't find her, and she yells at her. She screams at her. And this is where, and so Ha-ni takes off outside, and she's crying I think she's on the steps. And this is where Hyun sees her. And he just sits there and lets her cry.
Yeah.
Which is so cute. Like, he's just kind of there just in case, but he doesn't want to like intrude on her.
Right.
And, or is that, no, I think this was the second time he saw her crying.
This is the
second time.
Yeah.
The first time was when she was on the steps and he just sat up there, right?
Yeah.
This time she's actually on a bench and he goes and sits with her.
Yep.
I'm confused.
It's all good.
And then he even that's what it was. He even tells her, look, because she's like, I don't cry often. And he goes, yeah, I saw you crying on the steps.
Yeah, I saw you crying on the steps. You cried on my back.
Yeah, yeah. So
or was my shirt, or was my back wet because you were drooling on me? That was funny. I thought that was funny.
And Hyun tells her she has a superpower to make him want to be better.
Yes.
And he hugs her.
He does. Like he's breaking through that wall. He's breaking through the wall. He's chipping away. He's chipping away at that wall.
Little by little.
Because I've told you before, I'm going to keep telling it. It's like, look, this woman has been closed off from the world and affection and any sort of, sense of self for 20 years. Right. And so we shouldn't have expected it to happen overnight. Right. And if you would have had, like if you would have had this crazy mad chemistry between them, you would have been, it would have been too long to wait. I'm being dead serious. Like, think about it, right? It would have been too long to wait. It's like, can you imagine if we were watching It's Okay to Not Be Okay and it took them all the way until episode 15 to get together? You know, right? It's like, because the chemistry between those two, I thought it was just off the charts. While the chemistry between them, like the physical chemistry, it's awkward. It is awkward.
Yeah.
And
So
so it's like, we needed that, because if they would have rushed into this, we wouldn't have believed the arc that it would have taken this long.
I think that's exactly what I was trying to tell you in the last episode. Like, oh, this is the first time, the scene where I felt like, could they be together? It's weird. And you were so right. I was listening to the podcast from last time when you were saying that it needed to be awkward, or something, you know, because she's not right. She's hurt.
Yes.
And she needs healing. And so that's why there's not a strong throw in your face romance.
Right.
This needed to be healed first before she could, you know, that's the right way to do it, right? Because people, I mean, you could totally, there's tons of shows out there where people just, you know, jump into bed because they're hurting. This was so nice. I love that it's going slow. I love it.
This series is about the focusing on the personal growth of the older Ha-ni,
and I love that. I do love that. I you know, this is not a throw in your face
you
romance.
could have done the same exact thing and focused on the romance, and it would be a completely different thing, but this one focused on the personal growth, and I like it.
When Ha-ni goes home and apologizes to the young Ha-ni, I think I was almost crying. It was very emotional.
Yeah, for sure.
I am starting to look at the young Ha-ni as my daughter, almost. And then when I tell myself, like I'm looking at it like it's my daughter, like if that were happening to me and my daughter, but then I tell myself, but that's not really your daughter, that's you.
Yes.
And it causes some emotional I don't know, something storm in me. Because it's a very strange thing if you have any pain, and then growing up, if you have some stuff, and then you have a daughter and you look at your daughter as yourself, because I've had that with Alana. And it's gonna make me cry. And you cry, and I've heard it from another woman I talked to, an older woman I was talking to. She was saying the same thing, like, you also are mourning for yourself.
Yes.
And I was like, I said, that happened to me before. It happened where I didn't know that I had pain, that there was some trauma.
Right.
You know, when I was younger, I didn't know I was holding that. And then when I had Alana and she was kind of going through something, and I was like, I'm hurting. I didn't know I was hurting.
Yes.
And I hurt because I was like, I would never want Alana to go through that.
Right.
But then I had to realize I went through it. And it was weird. It was weird. So this is what I'm having. This is what I'm feeling. And this is why I think we mentioned it in like early on, that, you know, if you're this drama is going to hit you different if you're older.
Yes, for sure.
And if you have kids. And I don't know if men, has that ever happened to you?
No. Well, remember, I'm the emotional dude, so
I know I don't even cry. And
I'm emotional, so yes, it's happened to me.
I guess I wanted to ask: would a man go through that? Where you're?
Oh, absolutely. There's no.
Well, I mean, I don't know what I want to ask you specifically.
Oh, please.
Where you mourn for yourself? Like, I didn't know. It was weird that I mourned for myself. I mourned for the little girl that was hurt.
Yes.
Does that happen to men?
Yes. Specifically me.
And you've had 3 boys to raise.
Yeah, and it really happened with Carter. I don't know what you know.
You're closer to him, maybe.
I'm definitely closer to him, and I wrote a poem about it. I'm a spoken word poet. I wrote a poem about it, where I talked about dropping him off for his first football game. And, wrote the poem about it and talked about how, now you're going to make me all emotional.
You're making me emotional again.
But yeah, no, it's, in talking about dropping him off for his first football game. And I told him, it's like, look, you're not going to see me for the rest of the day, but I'm going to be in the stands. And he was like, yeah, of course, almost like, yes, of course you're going to be there. And then as I'm driving off, this actually did happen. I started bawling.
You never told me. I don't think you ever told me this.
Oh,
maybe.
I mean, these are not things that I necessarily feel compelled to have to share. It's in the poem. Yeah. If you ever heard that poem, it's true. It's like I started pulling away and I had to stop because I just started bawling. Because I think about my relationship with my father, how he literally lived right down the street from El Camino. And I don't know if he ever made it to a football
That's
game.
your high school. So he literally lived right down the street from your high school.
At my high school that I graduated from, he literally lived minutes away from our high school. And he was, he could have been to every single game, but I don't know. Like I said, maybe he was there. I don't know, but he never made it clear that he was there. To me. And so, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that he wasn't. And, but that relationship between, Carter and I definitely, I've had some other moments like that, but that one warranted a poem. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have kids, yeah, this one could.
This hits different for older people.
Oh,
when you're younger, it's like it depends on who you are in the drama. If you're the young Ha-ni, then this probably doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to you. All it is a whole bunch of old people being mean to you. Right? It's like, because that would be the perspective of a teenager. It's like, and she keeps saying it, right? It's like, you keep locking me up. I'm not a prisoner. I can do whatever I want. And that's like, yeah, you could, but you're 17. But like I said, in the mind of a 17-year-old, they're an adult, and that's how she was raised that way, or she's been that person for a long time. So anyway.
Yes. So there's stuff going on in the drama with the aunt and the son and the meaty, we don't need to get into all of it. I don't think
the most compelling thing is that the son comes over to the aunt's side. Like we thought that he was, quote, a good guy, which he technically still is. He's protecting his wife. But he's trying to protect his wife.
So that's at first I was like, oh, I thought you were good, because he tells Yoon, like, look, even if my mother did something,
we'll get down to the bottom.
Yeah. But I think it all changed when he saw the footage.
Oh yeah. No, he needs to protect his wife. He needs to protect his wife.
He saw the footage of her at Ha-ni's desk.
Yes.
So
and I think that's really all we need to know about.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that in this one.
And Hyun is starting to figure out about his aunt. I wasn't sure how he caught on so quickly, but he did. And he even asked, I think he asked his cousin about it, and then he asked his sister-in-law. So they have coffee or something and tea.
Yes, but he figured it out before that.
Okay.
Because so I had to rewind on this one also, because I'm like, what? And so it was the assistant, right? The guy that was supposed to be like watching him. The assistant tipped his hand, meaning this. Like I said, I had to rewind for it because I was just like, what? Because when the assistant was talking to Hyun, the assistant knew a detail that Hyun had not said, right? He knew the company or whatever. And then that's when that tripped the Hyun's alarm.
Because the assistant just said, I assumed, because that's our
competitor. Yeah.
They're giving us little hints.
Hyun was like, I didn't know that detail until I was in the questions, and I surely didn't share it. So how did you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's when it started tipping over.
It is, because and then also because Yoon says, you may be my mother, but I'm not going to let this slide. And that's when she gives him the thumb drive so that he could see his wife. So
Yep.
that changes everything for him.
Right.
Of course, and then the office, nobody believes Ha-ni did it. And this is when you say, I think this was one of your sentences, when Mrs. O, or Ji-yoon is her name, where she goes to Ha-ni's home and she tells him that she's pregnant. And you know, and Ha-ni even says, I remember when you know that you had said you've just wanted to be a good mom.
Yeah, they even had a flashback with that. That was very, very sweet.
Yeah. And this is also, well, we talked about it, where she and you know, suspecting his aunt of foul play, and he talks to his cousin. So what happens is, the next thing that happens, all that kind of falls apart real quick, because they do an investigation and they find out that there's no evidence of plagiarism. So
yeah, that is what pissed the aunt off, because she was like, there should have been. So what happened?
Yes. So
Miss O didn't do it.
So she has to do something else. So I think that goes into maybe next. Oh no, this happens at actually this episode. They find something in one of the snacks.
No, I don't think it was causal. That wasn't causal. I think that I think what happened with Ha-ni and Hyun was to take Hyun down. And then what happened with the metal in the baby food?
Oh, it's for the stocks.
Yeah, that was for the stocks.
So that she can go and buy more. Those are two different
things. Yeah.
Because she needs to own a little more, so
she's trying to get controlling interest of the company.
So the whole, yes, they find something in one of the snacks, some metal in one of the kids' snacks.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is where you also said, you know, Ha-ni apologizes to Ji-yoon, Mrs. O, for the 20 years ago, what she did. You know, we saw what happened.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's understandable, because it was at the hospital, you know, after her dad died. But anyways, that broke their friendship. Right. So she apologizes. Let me see. And then, so what happened? This is almost at the end.
Yeah, this was relatively a detail-free episode. 13 is heavy.
One of the things
13 has a lot of stuff happening.
One of the things that the aunt says that was kind of funny. She says, even the weakest animal will bare their teeth to protect the family. And so I think she was maybe talking about her son. I think she was referring to maybe her son.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. The picnic. Can we just talk about the picnic? Anthony comes over and takes them to the picnic, and they invite Hyun. And did you see their food? It looked amazing. I want to have a picnic and we do that, because it looks so good.
Yes, it did look amazing.
We went on a picnic early on when we were dating.
Oh, what?
I'm waiting to see you say, oh yeah, I remember. Nothing. I made like barbecue chicken in the oven, corn, and we went to a park and had a picnic. That's why I don't do it again. Okay. Bruce is like, I don't like being out in the elements. Was that a fly?
You're Bruce. Talking anyway.
What?
Okay.
What?
I'm good.
They were on a really cool picnic.
It was a really cool picnic.
Yes, I want to do that. Bruce doesn't like to eat out in the elements.
I do not like to eat out in the elements. I don't like camping. I don't like eating out in the elements.
Okay, so Hyun and Anthony agree on something. She's about to go on a blind date or something. She mentions it.
Yeah.
And so they start siding with each other for the first time. Like, yeah, no, you should not be going out on a blind date.
Yeah.
And I think they even say something like, what's wrong with us? Like, how are you gonna go on a blind date, but you got two pretty good guys right here? And I think they even say that, don't they? They're like, this is a great guy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's so funny. Okay, the mom and the sister, they're starting to look at pictures of Ha-ni when she's young. So everything's closing in. Anthony gets the role.
Yes, Anthony gets the role.
And mom meets Ha-ni at their home. She's going to the home.
Yep.
Right? Because she wants to figure out.
She wants to figure it out. That's my opening sentence for the next one.
And then Hyun gets a call about the chairman. And that ends this episode.
Yep. That ends it.
Turn my page.
Yeah, this one was,
It was not much.
I don't want to say it was a
was a lot of little
throwaway.
things.
It just, it
was
wasn't
closing in. It was one of those things that
closing in. Number 13,
everything.
this one.
This was huge. I have so many notes on this. We probably should have just made this its own episode because
Yeah, I mean,
well, let's go. Let's hear your
all right. 3 sentences. The mother and sister confront the Ha-ni's. Ha-ni and Yoo-hoon return to work because Miss O did not follow through with the aunt's plan. And then 3, Yoo-hoon puts all the pieces together, including what is really going on with his father's health.
Yes.
Those are my 3.
So we start this episode off with the mother at Ha-ni's house, and she catches them.
Woo!
And I almost cried again.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you too.
Oh, I cry
because
tears rolling down the face. It was a big deal.
I'm thinking about.
There you go. Getting emotional again.
She says, as if I wouldn't recognize my own daughter.
Yeah, that was a killer right there. Yeah,
because I remembered a time where the boys were little, and I had to drive to 3 different schools, and I know so many moms who are like, I'm driving to 3 different schools, in the morning and then in the afternoon to pick up, drop off, kids that go to different schools. And it was so exhausting at that time for me. And I remember driving and thinking, one day I'm going to look back and wish I could just be in this car again with the kids. And I am right now. Like, I'm like, I would give anything to sit in the car with the 3 young kids in the back, And so anyways, that's what I was thinking about when the mom saw Ha-ni. Where that's what I was thinking is like, if you're a mom and you have older kids, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's not every mother, because I did know a mom and I did ask her, do you ever miss your kids, when they were younger? Because I had 2 little boys and she had 2 grown boys.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I feel like I did my job and I did it well and I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so maybe that'll be me. I'll feel like that.
Yeah.
No. That was me. So I was wondering, Ha-ni's mom, like, how it would feel to see her daughter that young again and happy.
Yes. Well, I mean, we have to, right now, you definitely have to kind of pause this one for your, like as an adult, for us as parents, and really like the thing that really caught me was the happy part. Like knowing that this used to be Ha-ni, and then 20 years later, this is still Ha-ni, but this is who you wish she would have stayed.
Yeah. That's heartbreaking.
Maybe less, it's like there's a part of, or for sure there's a part of her that died that day, right? With the father's accident, especially how she blamed herself for it.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. And so, you can only be so much of a person after you let such a big part of you die. But yeah, that's what the mom really saw. Like, almost like a second chance or a redemption, like, all of those things. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what got me. Like I said, that was the emotional part for me, for sure.
When I see like homeless people on the street, if they're kind of young, I always think, was there ever a point in their life when their mother loved them, when they were happy? What happened?
Yeah.
I always think about that.
Right.
And it just makes me sad because I see, we're starting to have a lot of homeless people here in Oceanside.
Yeah.
And it makes me
sad.
The
other cities send them here.
Anyway, and it makes me sad because I wonder, when did it change for them? Like, I wanted to add, there was one guy particularly, I saw him and I wanted to ask him, like, what happened? When did this happen?
Yeah.
Were you happy as a young kid? Did you have parents? It makes me sad for everybody. It makes me sad for all of them when I think about them, because we always ignore, you ignore all the homeless people and stuff.
Right.
And you don't stop to think, like, we have a lot of military town. Did they get hurt? And there was nobody they had no family to take care of them.
Right.
I mean, they could have been out fighting for us. And now they're just homeless, or I don't know. Anyways, that's what I think about when I'm watching this episode.
Right.
It's rough. It's hard.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah. So okay. So the other thing, Yoon, the nephew, is at the hospital with the chairman, because remember, the chairman's at the hospital. And Hyun finds out, and he arrives, and the chairman's cold with him and sends him out. He's like, I'm working. But then we find out, at first I was like, oh dang, poor Hyun. But the chairman is not ready yet to tell him what's going on with him. And he says, I think this is when he says that Hyun has a fragile heart. Like I need to brace him for what's going on. And this is where I like too that the chairman says, he must be shocked. He's emotionally fragile, and here I am hammering nails into his heart.
Yeah, that was deep.
And so Hyun and the cousin, they talk outside, and the nephew Yoon changes a little bit, because this is where he says, I couldn't care less about how you feel. This is as far as you go with your suspicions and doubts. And I was like, oh,
because Hyun is suspecting Auntie now.
Yes.
And actually talks to Yoon about it. And that's where
he has to protect his wife.
He's protecting his wife for sure.
So that's hard. And this is where the aunt, she starts dressing the board, says, I'm going to hold the reins. So all of this
emergency control over the company.
Yeah. And then we see a scene where Ha-ni's mom now knows.
Yes.
Right. And Ha-ni tells her mom, I felt as if someone sent her as a gift. And the mom says, now I understand the change.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, that was cool. That was cool that everybody starts recognizing that the older Ha-ni has actually turned a corner also. Yeah.
Okay. Anthony's about to get himself in trouble again. I could see it because he has an interview. And I think it goes well, but the interviewer sees the mole.
Yeah.
And all I was thinking was, okay, Anthony, with all of that plastic surgery that you've done, why didn't you take the mole off? Like, not only that, but it can be like dangerous. Like moles, when sometimes they get too big, you got to take them off, because my makeup, I'm not going to be able to. Bruce, just if you're listening to us, Bruce is telling me my makeup is smearing. We're just going to have to.
I think that worked.
Yeah. Look at our camera. What's up with our camera?
I don't get it.
You know what? Maybe it's a blessing. Our camera is like not focusing on our face, so maybe that's good.
Well, you have your glasses on, so
it's hiding.
People are gonna have to just kind of get over it.
I had an emotional little breakdown right now.
Indeed.
So
this is not normal.
It's not normal. Okay. So anyways, he goes shopping. And it's just cute. He buys it. What's cute about it, he goes shopping for Hanis and he buys them the cream. But then he's like, I'll take a whole case. I mean, I'll take 2. Like, he has to remind himself, I'm broke.
Yeah.
But anyways, he goes to the Hanis, and I guess, I don't know how they're talking or something like that. And they start talking cutesy or something, and Hani's drinking juice, and the juice, she just spills it all out of her mouth because she's all disgusted with how they're talking to each other.
Yeah, because Anthony basically is flirting with.
Yes. So she's Hani. And Hani goes, what are you doing? That's disgusting. And she's like, what's with you? What's with you? I feel even more disgusted.
That was funny.
I thought that was hilarious. Okay. So this is
it was gross, but it was funny.
Yeah, it was gross. She did it good though.
Yeah, she did.
Like, she really did that juice. Like, I was like, oh, that was good. Like, it made me feel really gross. Like, it just, anyways, I love the actress. She's good.
Oh yeah.
Isn't she?
Oh
She's
yeah.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yep, they go back to work. The Hanis are going back to work. There's no evidence of plagiarism. And again, we see the aunt scold Mrs. O.
Yep.
She's just not nice to her. And Mrs. O says, I thought something bad would harm the family later. Like she's thinking ahead. She's being smart.
Right.
But yet still very intimidated.
Yes.
But she's on the right track. And we saw her earlier in another episode where she's like, look, where she was talking about the company. Mm-hmm. Like we need to be an honorable company.
Right.
And I was like, yes, okay, that's good. But that, you know, her mother-in-law, it's intimidating.
Right.
So, but she's okay. So she's on the right track, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And Ha-ni tells Hyun if anything is wrong. She says, tell me, I want to be of help to you like you have been to me, because he's kind of staying away.
Right.
You know? Okay, so this is where we see the stock prices go down. Mm-hmm. The snacks are being boycotted.
Right.
And let me see. The guy, the team member guy or whoever, team leader from the other company is blackmailing the aunt.
Yes.
So this is where I'm like, okay, it's going to turn around. Mm-hmm. And he plays the recording for her.
Yep.
Okay, so that's good. So hopefully she goes down.
Well, they settled this one in this episode.
Did they?
Right?
Did they settle it? What happens? Because I can't remember.
What happened is that Yoon, her son, basically digs up dirt on him.
Yes, okay, that's the way to do it. You know what I was thinking when I saw that? I was like, you know, I need to keep my eyes and my ears open. If I see any dirt on anybody, like I need to remember it just in case I need to use it.
Just in case.
Okay. Just in case they try to blackmail me or something. I could be like, oh yeah, look what I have of you. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we hear this is where they're restructuring the whole company and they're about to let like the kitchen help go. Mm-hmm. And the cleaning employees, they're about to let them go. And we see Hyun looking for his dad, and he's told that he's in some villa somewhere, right. or he's in another country. He's away in another country. Let me see.
Because he had to track him down at the end.
Yes. Let's see. The young Ha-ni, when she's talking to the mom, mm-hmm. she asked her what happened to Ha-ni? Why was she such a mess and depressed? You know, and so it's getting closer and closer.
It's circling. I mean, we knew this was going to happen, right? It's like that's the whole thing. I honestly, I thought it was just going to be a bigger part of the series. I thought her learning how to, like, the truth,
heal,
and because the thing that's kind of, I don't want to say it's upsetting me. That's too much. But the thing that I was thinking about as we got to, you know, this stage is to say, it seems like the younger Ha-ni didn't have anything to learn. Right. And I know we're all going like, but she doesn't know about her father's death and her causing.
So you thought we were going to learn earlier so
she could grow also. You like to spend more time, to spend a little bit more time on her growing and healing also. Just saying.
I totally get it, but this is where you can like hurt your brain. Because that's the older Ha-ni, which is her. She's learning it now. So she is learning. But I guess you're saying maybe she couldn't have really changed to be a different person so that when her dad died, she wouldn't have gone through that. I think that was just a normal, she had to maybe go through all of that. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. It was definitely something that was on my heart. And I'll even talk about it more probably in the next episode.
Okay. So we have some more things happening with Mrs. O and the mother-in-law, where because Ha-ni gives Mrs. O some advice. Like, if you care about the person that's doing wrong, just tell them to stop because they're going to ruin themselves.
Right.
So she tries to tell that to the mother-in-law. She says, you know, I want to help you stop before you ruin yourself. And the mother-in-law was like, shut up. I've never considered you my daughter-in-law. Oof. That baby is our bloodline. You're not.
Wow.
Wow, I know.
Wow to the wow on that. Yeah.
Okay, so this is where the mother-in-law asked the son to do something, and we weren't quite sure yet, but that's where
Oh yeah.
you already said it, where he meets with the other
Handled it.
company. Yeah, and he handled it. Um and then let me see. Hani almost gets hit by a car. And I think this is where is this where Anthony says, that there's something not right. They don't seem like a mother and daughter.
Yeah.
I think it's Anthony that says that.
He's definitely triggered now because when they went after each other in regards to like keeping me in the house.
Oh yeah.
Like,
and this is where she tells her, like, you might die.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's where, okay, so that's where she was about to eat dinner with Anthony, and she goes out to buy the chili, gochujang chili, to eat, and she almost gets hit. So that's what happens.
Right.
And she finds out that she may be destined to die, or that,
right.
Yeah, so they're trying to protect her. So there's another whole big scene where Hyun tries to find Seok, which is the employee that was spying on him. So they kind of become friends. So I think all of that was just to show Hyun's good side. And to get that, because we're going to see in the next episode that the employees, they like him.
Yes.
And they like his dad. And I think maybe the scene of him going to take care of that employee's mother, remember? Because he finds her, and he's actually looking for him.
Yeah.
And but his mother's sick, so he takes her to the hospital, and then he makes this big meal. And I think it was all of that to win back the employee, because the employee was working for the aunt.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then he also asked, did my aunt tell you to do it? So anyways, but then I think this is where he says there's also another accomplice. There was also somebody else.
Yep.
So he was investigating. Wasn't that one of your sentences?
Yeah.
Like he's
putting it all together. Yeah. He had to put it all together to see who is what's really going on. Yeah. That's it. Putting all the pieces together.
Yeah. I thought he kind of did it quick, but
I think they needed to, they had to do it quick because they don't want to spend this is going to resolve really quickly. And I mean, we're going to do one more episode here after this, but 15 there's probably should be very minimal to talk about this. This should wrap up really quickly.
Yes,
it has to. There's only 2 more episodes
at the end of the episode. Hyun overhears his cousin and the mom talk. They're trying to get the stocks.
Yeah.
The mother's trying to get her son to have the chairman give him his stocks, and because then she'll have more power to make decisions. I guess whoever owns the most stocks makes the decision. Yeah. Owns more of the company.
Majority owner.
And he finds out where his father is, that his father's not in this another country. He's in the villa. And even I think the son, the nephew, Yoon wants to do good, because he even tells his mom, have you always been this cruel?
Right.
So but he has to, he's protecting his
wife.
And you will even hear Hyun say it too. He's like, I knew that you had to. I get that you had to do it. There's a few times where he says that. Even I think about Mrs. O.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I get it. That's your mom. Like, what a position. I think the chairman says that about them too.
Yeah. About
the nephew. Like, look, I don't like what you did, but I mean, you get it. It was your mother.
Right.
So that's a hard one. So they send the young Hani over to the sister's house just to be protected.
Right.
And I have to say, totally I totally love how the sister's son has a little crush on the young Hani. Right. And I don't know if you heard it, because I told you in the last episode that I'm listening to it with the headphones.
Yeah.
And so it's so cute, because the sister looks at her son and you hear the bald eagle.
Yeah. No, I heard it.
Did you hear it? Oh my God, it's hilarious. I love that they put that in there, because it's just so like the mom Like one, I'm like, she's protecting her son. Like, you're not supposed to like this girl. And then I'm like, oh wait, it's especially gross because
Yeah, it's gross.
that's your aunt. That's my
Yeah,
little sister.
right.
And so it's hilarious how the mother is trying to protect him. And then he's feeding her,
Mhm.
remember? And then when she gets home, he like goes, hides in his room. And she's like,
And then tries to come out like he wasn't there.
yes, and
Yeah,
she knows. Like
yeah.
I don't know what's up with the sister right now, but she's looking good to me.
Is
Like,
she?
well, I mean, even her face. Like, I
Oh,
want to go back and look at the other episode. Like, I feel like they changed her too to make her more appealing or something.
mm,
Like her makeup's different. She looks softer than
does she?
she
Huh.
did. And so I'm like, because you'll notice, they can do that in
Oh, for
film,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I'm like, I wonder, I should go back and see, or if it's just my heart is changing towards her.
Yeah. I think it's for me, it's definitely more the latter that my heart is changing.
Yeah. So that is so
You
funny.
know, now that I'm thinking about it, so because I'm like, okay, no, the sister reacting because I there was a part of me that was like, wait, hold on, this kid knows that this is his
No, he
cousin,
doesn't.
but he
Oh,
doesn't.
he doesn't
He
know.
doesn't know. Yeah, I mean, like it would be his cousin, but he doesn't know. He does not know.
Here is another scene that made me cry when Hani hugs the young Hani to leave. They're at the sister's house and
Mm-hmm.
she's leaving her there and she hugs her. That teared me up too.
Mm.
It
Yeah, you got an emotional ride
I
here.
know what's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? I'm getting too
What's
soft.
right with you?
Okay. Let me see. Oh, okay. So Hyun, this is what's weird to us as I think Americans maybe, or maybe, but I mean this is then maybe the culture in South Korea, but it's also entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So you also have to remember that,
Yeah.
that it's entertainment, that some American movies, when they do things like we don't really do that.
Right. Right.
I had
Right.
to remind my mother that when she's watching, I'm like, Mom, this is entertainment. It doesn't necessarily mean every
Korean person does this.
just
Yeah.
doing this. Okay. So, but Hyun comes over and he hasn't talked to Hani in like a week.
Yeah.
And he tells her, listen, if you hear something about me, I wasn't trying to deceive you.
Mm.
And then he leaves.
Yeah.
And I'm
Do
like,
you know who I am?
yeah.
Like, what do you know about me?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what he says.
that was deep.
And I'm like, so why doesn't he just tell her right then and there? But of course, I love that they just don't say everything. There's just like, look, there's a time and a place, and I
Yeah.
don't have to tell you everything.
Yeah.
And I love that,
Mm-hmm.
that he didn't have to try to explain it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking, if this was an American show, the next scene they'd be in bed. Because Bruce and I we were watching Gilmore Girls, right?
Yeah, Gilmore Girls.
And we got to a place where the two people that you've been waiting,
That's our side binge.
our side binge right now. And we've been waiting like all these seasons for these two people to get together. And
that's good how you're not even trying to spoil it too. That's good job, love. You haven't said anything, you haven't said their names.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, a lot of people might not. We have people listening all over the world, Bruce.
I understand. I'm saying so don't say their names. I'm just like I was just fascinating that you didn't say their name. I'm
okay.
just like,
so, but it
or the
doesn't matter.
season.
It doesn't matter who that is. The point was, we've been waiting all these seasons for these two people to finally get together. And when I mean to get together, I mean just to address that they like each other.
That there's an attraction, yeah.
And we're like, okay, they did it. And then the next scene, they're in bed. And I'm like, dang, like what?
Things move fast.
Didn't they? Yeah. So anyways, I was thinking that when I saw them together,
mm-hmm.
I was like, if they were watching an American show, the next scene would be them. But I love it. And then, because didn't they get kind of close too? Weren't they like?
Yes. I mean, he grabbed her hands.
Yes. And so anyways, I'm like, okay.
He was like, I feel so much better after seeing you.
Yes. And yeah. So he just leaves.
It's like, she was like, you think I'm stupid? Why don't you just at least text me?
I know.
But he gave a good, I mean, he was like,
I know. She's like, yes.
But it's like,
his explanation was
you,
good. I'd wanted to see you.
I would want to see you, and I couldn't.
See, I love it. I love that they just wait. Like we are so impatient here. Like, it's okay to wait.
Yeah.
I try to teach my kids that.
Yeah, I mean,
Just wait.
it's like
Wait, it's okay.
if we think about, because I continue to think about like Boys Over Flowers, with like that's of course one of our all time shows, and then we also did the broke that one down on the podcast, but it's like, oh shoot, I'm forgetting, golly, I'm forgetting his name, Junpyo, right? He left for like 3 years. And then the other dude, the pottery dude, he left for like 3 years.
You'd be like, why would you go with him?
And the girls stayed.
So is that more a cultural thing?
You know what I'm saying? Like that to me, that
that
boggles my mind.
But
and they made it
also
seem like they didn't spend a whole bunch of time talking to each other either.
Yeah.
That boggles my mind. But
that's so nice.
For something, for some reason, we accepted that, and clearly in Korean culture, no one cried foul, and so clearly that's a thing. So anyway, but yeah, so he just back. Like, do you know? I loved how he did that. It was like, because he didn't want to say anything about it. He wanted her to find out organically, if you would, like, who he is. And I'm going to tell you flat out, I literally forgot that she didn't know who he was.
Mm.
And so the reveal on this one was really like, oh, like, she doesn't know who he is. It's like, it just, like I said, it just hit me like, oh, because we always knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's why, to me, it was kind of weird that you just kind of forget about it. At least I did. Let us know if you were thinking the same thing. I think that pretty sure that most of us just kind of forgot.
You can easily email us at talkkdramas at gmail.com.
Or go to the website.
Easy. Stop what you're doing right now. Stop. We'll wait for you. Okay. So I hope you I hope you stopped and email us. So the office layoffs, they're laying off everybody. But the ending of this episode, Hyun follows Yoon to the villa and sees his dad get into the wheelchair with the glasses, and I cried.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Oh, I cried for Yoon. Not Yoon, Hyun. Nobody cares about Yoon. Hyun. I cried.
Yeah.
That was episode 13.
Yeah, that reveal wasn't that didn't hit me too hard.
But it yeah.
I hear what you're saying and why that was a big deal, but I'm just like, that didn't hit me as hard as other things have, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes you're in just a different space when you watch it. Yeah. Sometimes, Yeah.
All right.
Episode 14.
All right, last one.
Okay. I just watched this, so hopefully it'll be fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it's 11 o'clock.
I know. Our plumber's supposed to come, so we'll see. We'll see how far we get.
Okay, so just in case you're listening to this years later, this just to give you reference.
What are we?
2022? My God, isn't it crazy?
Mm-hmm.
February, and we're in the middle of a kitchen remodel. We've not had a kitchen for the whole month. We are so sick and tired of eating microwave food. And we were going out. We were so excited to go out. The kids were all excited going out. And then we we got our first microwave. And so we started eating. We're like, yay, let's go buy all the microwave food we haven't had a chance to eat. And we are now disgusted with it.
We are sick of it. It didn't take very long either.
The kids are like, oh my God, that stuff's bad.
Yeah.
And
they figured it out too, pretty quick.
I do love frozen pizza though.
That is true.
And so anyways, yeah. But Carter's been barbecuing for us.
Saving grace.
Oh my gosh, yes. So he's been doing some barbecuing outside, and oh my God, so good.
The tri-tip was off the hook.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Sorry. We just had to go off.
We had
Carter a little bit.
Let's come back and finish this thing up before our plumber comes.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm looking that way because literally that's the window to our front yard. And so Yoo-hyun and his father join forces to protect the company from the aunt. Sentence number 2, Ha-ni and Miss Oh, no, I didn't want to do that sentence. Yoo-hoon devises a great plan to save the company and gets all the employees to buy in. And lastly, Anthony gets the part, but immediately faces a huge scandal that could derail his entire career.
Oh, and the scandal goes back to the mole, the
Goes
interviewer.
back to the mole.
Seeing his mole. See, you gotta take care of everything in the beginning. He should have had that removed when he had all his plastic surgery. Just like the movie we saw, Somewhere in Time, messed up. He didn't. Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, good movie. Watch it. Somewhere in Time. You have to buy it on Amazon Prime. Okay.
That's for sure.
Let's
try to keep this relatively quick.
I know. Okay, we gotta go. If we have to stop it and come back, we're gonna have to do that then. Episode 4.
Okay.
Bruce just gave a really weird look on the camera. Sorry. Board meeting. They're in a restructure. They want to kick. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get the camera to refocus.
Okay. So at the board meeting, they're going to vote to restructure. And this is so this is weird because they show something and then they go to a flashback of how they got there.
Yeah.
So they're at the board meeting. Hyun is all dressed up in a suit. He looks so good. He looks so different, even his hair.
He does. Yep.
And he walks in, he says, "I vote no." And she's like, you don't even count.
Right.
And then the father walks in.
And then
they wheel him in. Sorry.
Yeah.
He comes in he's in a wheelchair.
Yep.
And they roll him in.
Yeah.
And so then we see the flashback of how this happened.
Right. How we built up to this moment.
Yes. And it's Hyun at the villa with his father. And he's crying alone. Yes. Oh my gosh. That got me. He's crying alone. And then he goes in and he opens a door to where his father is and he tries to act tough. He's like all, tears, and then you see him open the door. What the hell's going on? Yeah. And I'm dying because he was trying so hard to be tough. Right. Right. Yeah. And we had just seen him break down. Right. And so the chairman comes clean. And
well, he has to at that point. There's no swerving around that.
Yeah. And Hyun was like, this is when you should make use of your healthy son. And so this is where Hyun steps up.
Yep. Big time. Big time. Like I said, 0 to 100, exponential growth.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then so now we go back to the boardroom and the aunt goes off on the chairman. Man, she's good too.
Oh yeah, she is.
And
she has to be. If you don't like her that much, then that means she's doing her job.
Yeah. And the chairman says, "You know what? I'm glad I'm blind. At least I don't have to actually see the monster you've turned into."
Ooh.
That was good.
That was fire. That was straight fire right there.
Yep. And so here we see the nephew again, Yoon, where he tells his mom, our fight has started officially. He's like, this is good because now we can do it, because he is kind of good inside. Right. He's like, we would never have gone far the way you were doing it. Yep. So now if this is what you want, let's do it officially.
Out in the open.
Yeah. And so that's what's happening there. The OBGYN gives Mrs. O a little bit of bad news, maybe. She's like, the baby's not growing. You're under a lot of stress. Right. I don't know what that means. I mean, like, is the baby going to catch up? Like, that was kind of weird. Yeah. But
basically, I just saw it as it needed to set a just catalyst of Miss O actually like trying to get in a conversation with her husband.
Yes.
And then see how coldly he was acting towards her.
Yeah, because she's like, I just got back. Yeah. And he's like, okay, well, I gotta go.
He didn't give it no time.
Yeah. So they find out in the office that the restructure was scrapped. Yep. And then this is when everybody finds out who Hyun is.
Oh yeah.
Because they're all in the office talking about it. The chairman, he's pushing his father, or somebody is, and Hyun's there. And then they were like, oh,
isn't that the cafeteria dude?
Yes. So then I think Ha-ni gets a little flashback of like, look, I didn't mean to deceive you.
Right.
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 And then I feel like this is a little face off with Yoon and Hyun. Hyun actually thanks him.
Yeah.
He's like, because he's like, you and Aunt taught me about the real world.
Yeah.
And then Yoon says thank you or something. He just like,
no, you basically said you're welcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? What was that tone? It was weird. Anyways,
you know what? It was.
I didn't know what to make of it.
It was kind of like I respect. Well, remember way back in the beginning of this, Yoon, he was saying how he admires the relationship between his father and Yoo-hyun. And so this is just one of those moments, right? It's like he just kind of like, yo, man, we woke up the beast, or like we woke up a sleeping giant. It's like the way that my mom went about this woke up this sleeping giant, and now look at him. Now he's about to go all in, and good luck. We got to face off against him, and we'll see how it all goes.
Okay, so we see Mrs. O and Ha-ni. They're bonding a little bit. They go back and eat the twisty bread.
Yes.
They go do karaoke to relieve stress, right? To do all that. I
was going to say a sentence about that, but I was like, that it wasn't big enough to be a sentence, but it was really cool how they kind of got it back together like that.
Yeah, it is.
Healing, right? Remember, this whole thing is about getting to a healing space, and their relationship has definitely progressed.
So if you were to look back with your friends, what would you guys say? Remember we used to do this and go eat this?
I know exactly what we would talk about. We would talk about how we used to go to Roberto's after games and eat a whole ass carne asada burrito and 3 roll tacos. Like,
I was gonna say
that was our thing.
My memories too were the 3 roll tacos with guacamole. You felt so grown when we would go get those.
Yeah.
And Shakey's all you could eat pizza. I think there was a Shakey. Was it Shakey's? Yeah.
That, and then we went back to Del Taco, but Del Taco just wasn't. It's like Roberto's is like the memory. Roberto's. It is Roberto's, not Alberto's. And Roberto's is the one that we were going to. The one that started it all was the one on the Coast Highway.
Yeah.
I think it was still Hill Street.
We still, how many years? 30 years later, it's still a thing.
It's still a thing.
If you come to
the Bertos and all their brothers, Roberto and all his
tacos.
brothers.
Now it's up to like 5 roll tacos.
I saw 10.
I wonder if our friend that's in is he Massachusetts now? That was from California. Oh, I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Do you miss 3 roll tacos? I wonder if he's watching this episode.
I'm going to tell you straight up. It's like, y'all ever come down to Southern California, y'all got to eat Mexican food. But I mean, and specifically, not just Southern California, because that includes LA technically. It's like LA is different. San Diego County, you literally can go through a Mexican restaurant with a drive-through and get better Mexican food than you've ever probably eaten before in your life.
If you're coming out of California,
if you're not from California, or if not from even Southern California,
and that's not even really authentic.
It's not authentic, but it's for real. I mean, it's like it's off the chain, like for real.
Okay, so we talked about this. I think in last episode, but it was actually in this episode. The young Ha-ni and her cousin. How he likes her. Yeah. This episode was actually the sweet potato, where she's eating a sweet potato.
Yeah.
And he's like peeling it for her, and that's when he runs because his mom comes.
Yeah.
Let me see. This is where Hyun confides in Ha-ni, where he says, I was hurt by those I trusted the most.
Yeah.
I'm turning my page. Bruce doesn't like it when I make a whole bunch of noise. So now I figured if I say it.
Yeah.
You don't. What?
Actually, you're right. I don't edit it out when you say it.
Okay. See? So it's good. He says also, it took me so long to notice the scars of the person I loved the most. And he says, I thought of you. I feel a lot better now that I've seen you. Ooh, we messed up on the episodes.
No, but I think we're still good, because this
did you say that again?
Isn't this when she sees him. Well,
Anyways,
now I'm messed up. Now my whole timeline is
we're
messed
good.
up. But anyway,
Our whole
we're fine.
timeline's messed up. Let me see. So we see again the chairman with Hyun, and he says that he's been pathetic and foolish. They're sitting outside talking. Do you remember? And Hyun's like, of all the old men, you're the best. Because he starts talking he talked about a little bit about Ha-ni and what she said about I guess recognizing like, did you change or something from when you were younger? And he says anybody that can reflect like that is good.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
Something like that. Let me see. Okay, so the aunt has 6% more of the stocks. So this is a big deal because this is where they find out that they need more shares. They're the minority. All the workers, Hyun, the dad, they're the minority now. So that's a big deal.
Right.
Let me see.
And so that's where the plan was devised. I talked about
yes, you talked about that, where they we'll go on with that, where they decide to go out into the community. And that's cute. Even the old ladies from the kitchen are out. Everybody's helping to try to get people to sign up, and they're like going to their businesses and stuff like that. Okay, so right here we see a scene with the sister. They're all there eating. Right, and the grandma is just like, she's just all over young little Ha-ni.
Yeah,
and she calls her puppy.
I
thought that was so cute. And then also again the son and his little crush, because doesn't he gives Ha-ni, the young Ha-ni, a big old thing of meat, some meat.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
And then the sister gets all weird.
As she should,
because this is where she takes him to the bedroom, and she's like, what is wrong with you? And he says, I love Scarlett.
Yep.
And
that's funny.
It is hilarious. So anyways, yeah, I'm feeling for the sister, like that could be just completely disgusted. And so anyways, our son's leaving for work. We hear him out there. You guys could probably
hear him. Or is he working?
He's on his way to work. He's going to work early today to do homework.
Really?
That's why he's leaving so early.
Oh,
he needs a space, he said.
He's trying to find a space to.
His room is too dirty. It's filthy.
Yeah, he should clean it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do that. He'd rather go to work 2 hours early
than clean his filthy room and work in it.
Yeah. So anyways, okay. So we're getting closer and closer. Ha-ni is starting to ask about her dad, the young Ha-ni. And I think she overhears her mother say she's gonna go visit him. So already right?
You already know.
She's gonna follow her.
Yep.
And Hyun, yes, so we already talked about the minority vote. Let me see.
This episode actually didn't have a whole bunch of meat in it. There was some shoes that dropped, if you would.
There's a few little things. They go, we see the aunt finds out that they're trying to convince the shareholders, to oppose her. And her son says, unlike uncle, I guess you failed to win the employees' hearts.
Exactly.
So it's just, showing the difference, how people really like the chairman.
Right.
In that. So
and his philosophy, right? It's like he's had to take stands multiple times throughout the series to say that's not how we do things.
So this may be a big turning point. And again, I'm like, I don't know. Hyun and Ha-ni are outside talking, and he says, now I know why my dad loved this company.
Yes.
And she grabs his hand.
That was
Let's give a shocked look in the camera. Sorry if you're listening, you can't see us. We are again.
That'll be our thumbnail. We're working on our thumbnail right now.
Oh, okay. Let's do our thumbnail. We'll do our shock.
We already did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Okay. Our camera's all messed up, so I'm sorry if you're watching us and you're not going. Your eyesight's not going. No, it's part of the whole thing. This is the chairman's eyesight. That's what's happening. That's how he feels. Okay. The first day of shooting. Poor Anthony. So anyways, he's so excited because it's the first day of the shoot. He's all excited and how he looks. And then that's where he gets bombarded.
He gets confronted
with all the reporters.
Yep.
That he was a bully and that he lied.
Yes.
Because he said he went away, like to school in the United States, maybe.
Yeah.
But he actually got kicked out of school for being a bully. Yep. And then Ha-ni, young Ha-ni hears about it on the TV, goes to him, right? And she tells him, she's like, it's true, because he was drinking. He was at home. She goes over there and she says, it's true. You assaulted and tormented those kids. You and your gang stole their money, and you hit them. You also mocked the poor kids. Like she's just going on and on. And she says, you need to apologize, not hide.
Yeah.
And so she's helping him out. And so that's what happens with him at the end. And then you see all the employees, they're happy, right? And they do their little chant, snacks for 3-year-olds to 80-year-olds. Joa is the best. Yeah. So they're all happy about that happening. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we get to the last ending?
How about snacks for 81-year-olds?
What are you talking about?
They said snacks for 3. I'm not even kidding. Like that actually, like that kind of phrase just kind of like kills
weird.
me. Like,
right.
So
at
from
81
3 to 80, it's like, well, so what if you're 81? As a matter of fact, it's like, because Asian countries, like percentage wise, especially like South Korea, but the one that has the most octogenarians, meaning 80-year-olds, in their population is Japan. But it's like Korea is like very close after. And so I'm just like,
okay, so that was weird for you.
Why are you not going to give snacks to someone who's 81?
Okay, stop it. The other thing, it was funny in the office when they were talking about all like the bad things that's happened to the company, and then that's when the actual office finds out about Anthony, because he's their spokesperson, right?
Exactly.
And one of the employees is like, do we need to do an exorcism? Like, because this company keeps having bad things.
Right.
Okay, so this closes out. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. I kind of like
emotionally spent.
Oh my gosh. Okay, because this is the last scene of the episode, and
don't give up, love. Finish.
I'm trying. Ha-ni sneaks into the mother's car because the mother's on her way to go see dad.
Yep.
Right, and Ha-ni has no clue.
No clue.
And they get to
why am I at a crematorium?
Yes.
What is that? What's it called?
I don't know. Funeral cemetery, whatever. Right. And Ha-ni follows her mom to the place where he's at, and I just broke down.
Yeah.
I kept thinking about if I had to tell Alana if it was about you.
You see how she's trying to kill me off, folks?
I had to make it like that's how it would be, right? If it was Alana, because Alana loves you to death. Right now, she loves you to death. And so I was putting myself right there.
Love me. Let's get.
I was putting myself right there. And I was thinking if Alana had to just find out like that, it would kill her. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like she would have, I don't even know what, fainted or something.
It would have been tough.
Yeah.
It'd be tough.
And so that was hard to watch. That was the end.
That was the end.
Yeah. Please let us know how you're liking us kind of rushing through all of these little episodes.
I don't know, rushing.
We took rushing. A long time. I felt a little bit rushing. Okay.
As a matter of fact, I was about to, somewhere in there, I was about to say, it's like, you know what? We got to institute the clock rule that you were talking about. Like, you should only take 15 minutes per episode.
There's no way. There's so much to talk about. There's so much, and we're leaving so much out. You should see Marissa's face. That's it. We got to go. The next one is going to be 14 and 15.
14 and 15. We kind of decide 14. Oh, I'm sorry, 15 and 16. We decided, it's like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but that we needed the two of them, the last two together, because number 16 is normally just like the wrap up. And so let's just.
We need to go.
We need to go.
Bye. Thank you for
Bye.
listening. Please say something nice, comment wherever you're listening so other people can find us. Give us 5 stars. And we will see you next episode. This is
Yes.
Talk
And wrap
K-Dramas
this one up.
with Bruce and Dallas. Bye.
Bye.